Now, former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli has been acquitted on 4 charges of intimidation. We now cross live to our colleague Chriselda Lewis, who has some information regarding, I think she is interviewing Mr. Mdluli. Chriselda, what's happening where you are from the South Gauteng High Court?
Well, Desiree, in an unprecedented move in what was supposed to be sentencing arguments in the matter involving the former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli and his co-accused, it now emerged inside court. You would recall, Desiree, on the 22nd of October, there had been a ruling at the Constitutional Court which had basically deemed certain sections of the Intimidation Act as unconstitutional. Now, you would remember Mdluli, amongst the charges that he was found guilty of, including, of course, 2 counts of kidnapping, assault, as well as 4 counts of intimidation. Those 4 counts of intimidation is what was at the center of the arguments inside court here today. And the judge seemingly having no choice in this matter to abide by the Constitutional Court. Of course, that ruling by the Constitutional Court invalidating or basically ruling unconstitutional certain sections of the Intimidation Act. So now that means that the 4 counts of intimidation that the former crime intelligence boss Richard Mdluli was found guilty on have essentially been overturned now. So what remains, so what we do understand is that the court will resume in the next few moments. The other charges, of course, still stand in terms of the guilty verdict, but what has basically been expunged at this point, what has now been removed or been overturned, is the 4 guilty charges against the former crime intelligence boss. We can't talk much to him at this stage, of course, by the instruction of his lawyers, because the case is still ongoing, but we will get some reaction from him now about the 4 charges of intimidation that he was found guilty of, which now have basically been overturned. Mr. Mdluli, thank you very much indeed for your time. I know that you can't say much on the case because it's still far from over. Let me get your reaction to, of course, the guilty verdict on the 4 intimidation charges being overturned.
Thank you. Much that I'm pleased about the outcome of the judge currently. It's still too early to talk about the whole matter because we still have to deal with the other 4 charges which are left. And as soon as that has been done, then one will be in a better position to comment further about this whole matter. Yeah, but for now, I'm happy about that. Yeah.
All right. Just very quickly also, we don't have much time. I'm sure you'd know that the country is, of course, oppressed with other matters, including the celebration of the box. But I have to ask also, Mr. Mdluli, there was the matter involving, of course, the testimony at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture, where a number of allegations were made about you spending or splashing money on from the slush fund on luxury cars and luxury holidays. You said you were prepared to go before the State Capture Commission. What is the process? Where is the process at this stage?
I'm still waiting for them to call me. I'm ready. I'm on standby. If they say come, I'll go there and deal with that part.
Right. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Mr. Richard Mdluli, who is the former crime intelligence boss. Breaking news here on SABC News at this hour is that the 4 charges of intimidation that he was found guilty of have now been overturned, of course, following that ruling at the Constitutional Court on the 22nd of October, which found that sections of the Intimidation Act are unconstitutional. So the judge in this particular matter, of course, having no choice, that the Apex Court had found that sections of that act were unconstitutional. So the 4 charges basically that Richard Mdluli was found guilty of have now been overturned. But there are other matters, of course, that this court still has to make a final ruling on in terms of the sentencing. That, of course, is related to the 2 counts of kidnapping as well as the assault charges that he was found guilty of. But what we do know at this stage is that the court process might be postponed. We'll hear in the next few moments what will happen next and when sentencing arguments on the other charges that he was found guilty of will continue. On the issue of state capture there, Desiree, you know the allegations that were made at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture testimony that Richard Mdluli had basically splashed monies on luxury cars and expensive overseas holidays. He says he's waiting for the Commission of Inquiry to call him, and he cannot wait to have his day to testify at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry. So breaking news at this hour here on SABC News. Back to you in studio.
Thank you.